Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. The market is open, y'all. 6:30 a.m. March 23rd, 2026. The market is open. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Wherever you're tuning in from around the globe. Peace, blessings, financial freedom. Peace, blessings, financial freedom. Peace, blessings, financial freedom. Welcome to the $1 Trillion Tickers broadcast. I'm your host, MattRiches. This is our second show of the day. The market is open. If you caught the pre-market briefing, you know we are bracing for impact because it was a crazy candle that we saw at 4 a.m. We saw this huge candle here. This was the Trump announcement. So this is the NAS 100. Let me show you on SPX. This is a huge 4 a.m. candle where Trump announced that he is postponing the 48-hour ultimatum to Iran. And that thing spiked up over 2.5% on both, y'all. Okay, so he said they had some productive conversations. We'll get into what Iran said about that when I get into the news, but I just wanted to let y'all know what happened in the pre-market. It was so crazy. All right, let's get into the mantra right quick, y'all. I deserve to be healthy. I deserve to be happy. I deserve the wealth that I'm building for me and my family. Riches and freedom, they come to our hands. I am the master of all I command. My learning is limitless. My earnings are too. The more I discover, the more I can do. The stock market is a machine of design, and I have the power to make that wealth mine. I am capable. I am skilled. I am bold. Blessings on the journey as the vision unfolds. All right, let's get to the prices. Before I read Robert Greene's daily law, let's get to the $1 Trillion tickers. First, as you can see, I'm running late today, so bear with me, peoples. All right, most valuable company in the world, Nvidia, 4.3 trillion, followed by Apple, 3.71 trillion, Google, 3.64 trillion, Microsoft, 2.86 trillion, Amazon, 2.25 trillion, TSM, 1.73 trillion, ABGO, 1.52 trillion, Meta, 1.51 trillion, Tesla, 1.4 trillion, Berkshire B, 1.04 trillion, y'all. And the Fear and Greed Index, let's see where we at. We are at 16 on the Fear and Greed Index. Okay, let's get into these prices. The market is open. Let's go to the 1 minute chart. Actually, let's go to the 5 minute chart so we can still see that crazy spike in the pre-market. You see that drop from Friday to the open. All right, current price on SPY, we up over 1.25% at 657.04. QQQ, we're up almost 1.5% at 590.56. Nvidia is up 2.5% at 177.19. Google is up over 0.5% at 302.63. Apple is up 1.5% at 251.70. Microsoft is up almost 1% at 385.70. Amazon is up almost 2.5% at 210.45. TSM is up 1.5% at 334.25. AVGO looking strong, broke over the pre-market high. It's up over 3.5% at 321.35. Meta is up 1% at 599.79. Tesla is up 2% at 375.79. And Berkshire B is up 0.5% at 483.14. All right, let's check out some of our other tickers we like to look at on this show. SPX, it's at 6,590. The NAS 100 is at 24,256. The Dow Jones is at 46,212. The Dow Jones ETF is at 462. The VIX was up at 30. The VIX was at 29.91 before Trump announced that postponement. And when he announced it, it dropped all the way to $20.28. Wow. Incredible drop. And then it ran back up to 27, and then it sold off to 23, and now it's currently at 25.12. Crazy movement in the VIX, y'all. All right, the 10-year Treasury note is at 438. Gold was getting clapped. Gold almost broke 4,000, y'all. Gold was selling off crazy. 20 minutes after midnight, gold was at $4,098. But it had spiked up, and it also had a big spike at that 4 a.m. It's now 4,430. The gold mini ETF is at 87.73. Silver is at 61.70. Copper miners ETF is up 4.5% at 72.15. AMD is up 2.5% at 206.56. Bitcoin was down. It was under 70,000, but it got a strong push at that 4 a.m. as well. That 4 a.m. candle was actually 3.8% on Bitcoin. It's now 71,000. It's over 71,000. IBIT is at 40.28. Ethereum is at up 5% at 21.55. BMNR, it was as low as 19.85. In the pre-market, it's currently 21.17. Palantir looking very strong right now. Palantir is at 5.3% to 158.56. Robinhood is up almost 1%. It was as low as 67.99 in the pre-market, y'all. Getting destroyed. All right, let's get to some news. See what we got. All right. We got Jensen talking about the data centers.
Obviously, there's a lot of energy in space. The challenge, of course, is that cooling, you can't take advantage of conduction and convection.
Exactly.
And so you can only use radiation. And radiation requires very large surfaces. And so... Right. Now, that's not an impossible thing to solve, and there's a lot of space in space. But nonetheless, the expense is still quite there. Is there? We're going to go explore it. We're already there. We're already radiation hardened. We have CUDA in satellites around the world. They're doing imaging, image processing, AI imaging, and that kind of stuff ought to be done in space instead of sending all the data back here and do imaging down here. We ought to just do imaging out in space. And so there's a lot of things that we ought to do in space. And in the meantime, we're going to explore what does the architecture of data centers look like in space. And it'll take years. It's okay. I got plenty of time.
I wanted to double click on.
So they will be putting these data centers in space for sure. Before we get to the next piece of news, actually, let's check out and see if our levels have hit. So the market been open for 10 minutes. Let's see, we got a 5-minute chart. Did find some support at our level at 657.05, but SPY hasn't really moved too much. QQQ found some support at our weekly level. I'm looking for a bigger move though. Nvidia did come down and touch our level at 176.45. Found some support and push back up. Next level to the upside, I gotta go on 177.80. Google. All right, Google. Google came down and touched our 302.30 every candle so far since the market has been open. Let's see if it touches it on this particular candle. We got 3 minutes to find out. So it's acting as support, that daily level there. If it does go to the upside, I do have 303.70 as a target. Apple next. Apple, it did reject this daily level here at 254.20. So it opened here at 253.95, came up, rejected our level, sold off to 251.48, and now it's headed back to the upside. So if it does continue to the upside, I got it coming back to our level here at 254.20. And Microsoft. Oh, I didn't do the levels on Microsoft. All right. Yeah, that was such a crazy spike in the pre-market that it kind of threw everything off. Because now you got the pre-market high and the pre-market low so far apart. Let me see what percent. Pre-market high and the pre-market low is over 3.5% apart. Now that is definitely not normal. So it's definitely not a normal day. So let's keep that in mind. All right. We got some more from. Nah, let's skip that. This is from Unusual Whales. Last year, Donald Trump Jr. invested in a rare earths startup at a $200 million evaluation. 3 months later, the U.S. government announced a major loan backstop. Now the company is valued around $2 billion. So Donald Trump Jr. was able to 10x his investment because he knew that the government was going to announce a major loan with that company. Wow. When you got the... is that insider trading? Absolutely. A 10x in 3 months? Don't get more insider trading than that. Alright, next. Uber will invest up to $1.5 billion in electric vehicle maker Rivian to acquire 10,000 fully autonomous robo-taxis that will be deployed in 2028. Rivian is doing business with Uber. 2 more years, should be 10,000 fully autonomous robo-taxis by Rivian on the road in America. Can't wait to see it. Oh man, Trump is a monster, y'all. So he had this lady from Japan. If you watching on YouTube, you can see Trump is sitting right next to this lady. She is the Japan's prime minister. And look what this dude said, man.
We Japanese citizens.
Well, one thing, you don't want to signal too much. You know, when we go in, we went in very hard, and we didn't tell anybody about it because we wanted surprise. Who knows better about surprise than Japan? Okay? Why didn't you tell me about Pearl Harbor? Okay? Right? Yeah.
What? What? This dude is terrible, man. Terrible. Terrible, man. All right, next. Amazon has acquired autonomous robotics startup River, R-I-V-R. I'm not sure how to say it. River. It was valued at $210 million in August 2024. The funding round, which included investment from Bezos and Amazon. Looks like a robot dog. I guess it's gonna be jumping out of the back of a autonomous Amazon van, and it's gonna bring it right to your door, and it's gonna go back in the van. The future is here, y'all. The future is here. All right, next. This from a few days ago, but Earn Your Leisure said America is spending $800 million a day on the Iran war. America also has public schools underfunded by $150 billion, $1.7 trillion student loan debt, $4 million housing shortage, or $4 million housing shortage, $2.7 trillion infrastructure gap, $40 million in medical debt, 600,000 homeless, 12 million food insecure kids, 80 million uninsured or underinsured. Food insecure is the phrase. Wow. They're gonna figure out a way how to say it. They're like, don't say starving, say food insecure. That's interesting. Shout out EYL. Alright. Let's check out this clip from Elon. It's almost 1 minute.
Our robot has a real brain. It's like Wizard of Oz, Tin Man.
Excuse me.
Our robot has a real brain. It's like Wizard of Oz, Tin Man. Well, was that a heart or a brain? One of the two. So, in order for robots to be useful, they have to be intelligent. They have to be able to do useful things just by asking, and you have to be able to make a large number of them at an affordable price. This is what we can do. We have the only company with all the ingredients for making intelligent humanoid robots at scale is Tesla. This is a super big deal. Like my prediction is that on this front is that Optimus will be the biggest product of all time by far. Nothing will even be close. I think it'll be 10 times bigger than the next biggest product ever made. Like that level.
All right. So let me run these prices one more time before we get up out of here. SPY is up 1.5% at 659. QQQ is up 1.75% at 592.29. Nvidia is up over 2.5% at 177.35. Google is up almost 1% at 303.76. Apple is up 2% at 252.80. Microsoft is up almost 1% at 385.46. Amazon is up 3% at 211.73. TSM is up 3% at 339.10. AVGO is up 4% at 322.98. Meta is up 1.5% at 602.55. Tesla is up almost 4% at 382.14. And Berkshire B is up 0.5%. Let's check out the heat map. Ooh, that's a beautiful heat map, y'all. So much green. So much green. All right. I gotta cut the show short today because I've been running late, as you can tell. The show is not the usual, but I think we got through a lot. So shout out to everybody that tuned in for the show.
And there's gonna be, it don't happen overnight, and there's gonna be moments when it's really, really frustrating, and it's gonna be moments when it's really, really inspiring and empowering. And if you get too high off the highs and too low off the lows, you're gonna take yourself on a ride that's very uncomfortable. I think it's just about being committed to the work and appreciating it, when it's good, and not stressing too bad when it's bad, just appreciating the work and staying focused on showing up every day.
And that's what we do here at $1 Trillion Tickers. We show up every day. I'm your host, MattRiches. We'll be back tomorrow in the pre-market for the pre-market briefing. Peace, blessings, financial freedom. Peace, blessings, financial freedom. Peace, blessings, financial freedom.